Hi, my name is Larry Powell, and I'm the lead pastor here at the Oxford Church of the Nazarene. If you're thinking that I don't look like I grew up in Pennsylvania, you're right. I grew up in a small town in Michigan, right about here. One of the things about growing up in Oxford, Michigan, was there was two things that really become part of who you were. One is the outdoors and hunting, being out there and doing those kind of things, and the other is sports. And so I grew up with a love of both of those things. I still love sports today, to play them and to watch them. Anything that I can compete at, I like to do. So I grew up, in Michigan. Then I graduated from high school. I wanted to go to college, but because of our financial state of our family, I couldn't do that. So I joined the military, ended up going to Germany. When I finished my tour of duty, I came home and ended up going to a Christian college in Illinois. And it was in Illinois that during the first day of classes, I met my wife, Carrie. And I remember that summer when I came home from school, I was talking to my buddy and I said, man, I found the girl that I want to marry. And it took me a while to figure all that out and to convince her, but we eventually started dating, and we married after graduation. 2 weeks after being married, we started pastoring a church, and those were tough days, but Carrie and I have been partners in ministry ever since. We just celebrated 30 years, not only in marriage, but also in ministry. And I just love ministry with Carrie, and she's our worship pastor here at the church. But we have 3 children. We have 2 boys, and they are in their mid-20s, and both in the area. And then our daughter, who is attending college in Illinois, she is a freshman, so she's finishing up her freshman year this year. But let me tell you just why I'm in ministry today. It was my junior year in high school, and my early life had been kind of difficult. My dad had a heart attack when I was young. He was disabled. Our family really struggled financially, so I always felt a little bit like a nobody, like we were always lesser than other people, and it was hard for me to deal with that. And so anyway, my junior year in high school, our church had some special services lined up specifically geared for the youth. And so I was attending those services, but it was the last service, and it was actually the last song of the last service. And the words to the song went something like this: give it all, give it all, give it all to Jesus. Shattered dreams, wounded hearts, broken toys. And I just remember it just resonating with me that my life was it felt like nothing but shattered dreams. And it just seemed like everything was working against me. Circumstances were working against me. And I remember going to the altar and praying that night. And as I was praying, I just realized that God had changed me. And it was so funny because I remember going back to my chair and thinking, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. I want to tell people that God is real and that He can change your life. And one of the things that was incredible is that my circumstances were all the same. Everything that was bad before that church service was still bad, but God had done a miracle in my life. He had filled me with joy, and particularly a sense of purpose. And I've been trying to follow Him as best I can ever since. So ministry for us eventually brought us out here to the East Coast, and we have been in Oxford now for 13 years altogether, and we love it here. And but let me tell you a little bit about our church. We're not a real big church, but we're not a real small church. We have people of every shape and size. We have old, we have young. Hopefully, we're a place where people can connect with one another. I know for me, one of the things that God really encouraged me with early on in my ministry here in Oxford was the phrase that your life counts. And I felt like He meant that in 2 ways. One is the essence of my life counts, who I am. God knows my name. There's a song that I love that says, God loves people more than anything. And I felt like that's what God was saying. Your life counts. I love you more than anything. And then also that the idea that my actions make a difference. And so I'm not just a nobody in this world, but God has a plan for me. And just that phrase just kind of changed my life. And I know recently I have been dealing with this idea of that I've been listening to in a Christian song. It's talking about truth, but the song about truth talks about lies that we tend to believe. And it says lie number 1 is that you're supposed to have it all together. And then it sings later, lie number 2 is everybody's life is perfect but yours. And I remember falling for that lie earlier in my life, thinking, you know what, I'm the only one whose dad's had a heart attack. I'm the only one who's eaten free lunches. I'm the only one whose life is miserable. But I realized since then that one of the things that's so true, and we recognize it and realize it here at OCN, and that is the idea that life is difficult. Even Jesus says, in this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. One of the things we believe so strongly in here is to be connected. Because even though life is difficult, it's better together. I really think there might be a place for you. If you're looking for a church, we might be that place for you. And I look forward to meeting you soon.